Yo, what's up guys? Chase the Bro here, and welcome back to another Dark Souls 3 weapon showcase. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Murakumo, and ever since the most recent patch, it has definitely got a buff. It now receives S scaling and dexterity, just like the Astora greatsword. If you happen to see my other video where I claim that it may be the best dexterity weapon, well, this one is its other contender. The Murakumo has a base AR of 616 with my build, but once buffed with Blessed Weapon, it has an AR of 662. That's pretty crazy for a curved greatsword, right? I mean, especially because this one has an R1 L2 R2 combo. Once you manage to land a light attack, you're always able to follow it up with the L2 R2 combo, and even though the final hit isn't guaranteed, it still does an insane amount of damage. Just remember to always follow your light attacks up with that combo. That's the most optimal way to play this weapon. As well, its running attack is pretty decent. You can use it in situations to dodge backwards and catch your opponent off guard. And it has a little bit of phantom range, so it's great for just running up and beginning a battle with as well. Also, keep in mind that curved greatswords have an insane amount of hyper armor, so whenever you go into trade with your opponent, never be afraid, your attack is most likely going to go through. And with this build setup, you're going to do a lot more damage than they do. There are some drawbacks to using a curved greatsword over an ultra greatsword though. For one, the two-handed R1s can still be parried, so you don't want to be playing in a way that your opponent can read, otherwise you will get parried. Although there's a pretty easy way to combat that playstyle. If you're fighting someone who is trying to parry you a lot, when you walk up to them, they're going to assume you're going to light attack, so open with your weapon art. That will catch them off guard, and it'll do a pretty decent amount of damage. Other than that, the Murakumo doesn't really have many weaknesses. It can even trade with the strongest strength weapons and do more damage. And not only that, if you happen to hyper armor through any attacks, you're able to follow it up with your combo, so I don't know, it's just OP to me. It's also a weapon that only requires 14 strength to wield when two-handing it, so you can pour the rest of your points into dexterity and have a pretty much pure dex build with this weapon as well. Which is perfect because this weapon is infused with the sharp gem. It's going to gain much more damage per point in dexterity than it would with wasted points in strength, so you're only going to want to meet the two-handed requirements of the weapon in my opinion. Now I really did enjoy PvPing with the Murakumo, and I love the Astora greatsword, so I don't really know which weapon is better in my opinion. This one's a lot easier to kill enemies with just because you have that combo capability. But on the other hand, the Astora has that amazing charge weapon art that if you happen to land it from the beginning, it pretty much takes out their entire health bar. The Murakumo can be parried while the Astora greatsword cannot. So I don't know guys, it really goes with your playstyle, you'd have to weigh it out. But I want to hear everybody's opinions. What do you guys think of the weapon? Which one is the better dex weapon? Now, as for my stats for this build, I do have 80 dexterity. I know that seems excessive, but at that level, you're still gaining 2 points per point in damage return, so it's definitely worth it. I have 14 strength, like I said, because that's the minimum requirements in order to two-hand the weapon, and you don't want to waste any points by pouring any more into strength, so it's ideal to have 14 strength. I also enjoy using the Blessed Weapon buff because it adds physical damage, but you don't need to. You could just use a resin if you liked, and that would save you points from faith. But if you want to use the Blessed Weapon like I do, you're going to need 15 faith. My endurance and my vigor are 34 and 30. I'm wearing the Prisoner's Chain, keep that in mind. And because I was the mercenary class that started out with, I have 12 attunement, which you don't really need. It'd be better to start off with a class that has lower attunement, but this worked out pretty well for me, so I'm not sure which class would be the most ideal. This one had the highest dex and the lowest strength, which was good, but the knight may work a little bit better in terms of extra points that you'd have left over. As for my weapon, you already know I'm using the sharp Murakumo because S scaling and 616 base AR, that's already insane. But then add on top of that, when you buff it with the Blessed Weapon miracle, boom, the AR jumps all the way up to 662. That's some hefty damage, guys. Also, when a weapon is buffed with Blessed Weapon, it slowly regenerates health. So I normally keep a simple cestus on me, but in this situation I felt a Blessed one would be more suitable because the health regeneration stacks with the Blessed Weapon buff. So it regains my health even faster. As for the Saint's Talisman, you can use whatever talisman you want really, any one works for the miracle. I'm wearing the Sage's Big Hat with the Xanthus set. I don't know, he felt like an outsider, like a loner. Like he wanders all alone. I like the way the armor set looked. I felt like it accented the weapon really well. I know its damage absorption isn't that good, but whatever, it looked cool. I'm wearing the Ring of Favor +3, you guys know why. I'm wearing the Chlorine Ring plus 3 because I don't have the most stamina. I like having 40, but 35 was doable. Just this weapon takes up a lot of my stamina. And I'm wearing the Sun Princess ring because it stacks even further on top of the Cestus and the Blessed Weapon buff. So I'm kind of like a regeneration build, but not really. I'm just using it as a side thing. And I'm wearing the Prisoner's Chain because it gives me extra endurance. Mostly for the endurance, but the vitality and health is a bonus. Also, for those of you who don't know, the Prisoner's Chain got a buff. It doesn't really lower your damage absorption by that much anymore, so it's always worth it to use. Now, guys, which weapon is better, the Astora Greatsword or the Murakumo? They both have pretty much the same AR. It really depends on your playstyle, in my opinion, but I don't know. I find it easier to kill enemies with the Murakumo just because of the combo, but the Astora Greatsword is the safer weapon, in my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments, though. If you enjoyed my video, then like the video. It really helps out my channel. Also, check out my Patreon. The link is in the description below. It's a place where I'm going to start posting all my upcoming events, all my videos first. It's just like a place where the Chase the Bro community can go to check out everything that's going to be up and coming. Also, it really supports me. And as always, thank you for watching. Chase the Bro out.